The Book of Job explained. When life doesn't make sense, please don't forget to like and subscribe, it really does help us build the channel. Suffering. Questions. Faith. Few books in the Bible are as raw, mysterious, and deeply human as the Book of Job. It's a story that asks one of life's hardest questions: why do bad things happen to good people? But more than that, Job reveals how to hold on to God when everything else falls apart. So let's walk through this powerful book, chapter by chapter, and see what it teaches us about pain, purpose, and perseverance. The man and the test. We begin with a man named Job, described as blameless and upright, one who feared God and shunned evil. He's wealthy, respected, and surrounded by family, 7 sons, 3 daughters, and countless possessions. Then suddenly, everything changes. In the heavenly realm, Satan appears before God, claiming that Job only serves him because he's blessed. God allows Satan to test Job's faith, not to destroy him, but to reveal the depth of his trust. In one day, Job loses everything: his livestock, his servants, his children. Then he's struck with painful sores from head to toe. Yet Job says, "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away, blessed be the name of the Lord." Job 1:21. Application for today: we often measure faith by blessings. But Job teaches us that true faith holds on, even when life collapses. When you can't trace God's hand, trust His heart. Job's lament. After 7 silent days of mourning with his friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, Job finally speaks. He curses the day of his birth. He doesn't curse God, but he's honest. Why did I not perish at birth? Job's pain is real. He doesn't hide behind cliches or fake smiles. He wrestles with God. He demands to understand. Application for today: honesty is not a lack of faith, it's part of real faith. God isn't offended by your questions. He's near to the broken-hearted who cry out to Him. You don't need to pretend to be okay for God to love you. The first cycle of debate. Now Job's friends begin to speak. Eliphaz suggests Job must have sinned, because God only punishes the guilty. Bildad insists that Job's children must have done wrong. Zophar bluntly says Job deserves worse. But Job defends himself: my conscience is clear. He insists that suffering doesn't always mean sin, that sometimes the righteous do suffer. Application for today: beware of easy answers to complex pain. Not all suffering is punishment, sometimes it's preparation. God doesn't fit in our formulas. His wisdom is higher than our logic. The second and third cycles. As the debate continues, Job's friends grow harsher, and Job grows more desperate. He feels God has turned against him. He pleads, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him." Job 13:15. He cries for an audience with God, for justice, for answers, for peace. But heaven seems silent. Yet in the silence, Job's faith deepens. He begins to declare profound truths about God's character and future hope. I know that my Redeemer lives, and that in the end he will stand upon the earth. Job 19:25 application for today. Faith doesn't always mean feeling God's presence. Sometimes, faith is choosing to trust even when he seems silent. Silence doesn't mean absence, it means God is working in unseen ways. The young voice of Elihu. After the three friends fall silent, a young man named Elihu speaks. He rebukes Job's friends for misrepresenting God and Job for demanding to justify himself. Elihu reminds everyone that God speaks through suffering, not to destroy us, but to draw us closer. He says, God is greater than man. Why do you complain to him that he answers none of your words? Job 33:12-13 application for today. Suffering can be a classroom where God teaches us humility, dependence, and grace. Don't waste your pain, let it refine your faith. God speaks. Finally, after 37 chapters of silence, God answers Job out of a whirlwind. But instead of giving Job reasons, God gives revelation. He asks questions that reveal Job's smallness and God's greatness. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Job 38:4 Can you bring forth the constellations in their seasons? Job 38:32 God doesn't explain the why, he reveals the who. And in that encounter, Job realizes that knowing God is better than knowing the answers. He says, my ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. Job 42:5 application for today. God may not answer all your questions, but he gives something better, himself. When your heart knows who God is, it can rest even without knowing why. Restoration and redemption. Job repents, not for hidden sin, but for doubting God's wisdom. He humbles himself and prays for his friends. And God restores him. He receives double what he lost, his health, his wealth, and his family. But the greatest restoration is spiritual, Job's deeper relationship with God. The Lord blessed the latter part of Job's life more than the first. Job 42:12 application for today. Restoration doesn't always look the same as before. Sometimes God restores our peace, purpose, and perspective before our possessions. No suffering is wasted when it draws us closer to God. Lessons for today. The book of Job isn't a simple story with neat answers. It's an invitation to trust God even when we don't understand. 5 key takeaways. 1. Faith is tested in the fire of suffering. 2. Honest prayer is stronger than silent doubt. 3. God's wisdom is beyond our understanding. 4. Pain can purify our faith. 5. God's presence is our greatest reward. When life hurts and heaven feels silent, remember Job. God may not remove every storm, but he promises to meet you in it. He knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I will come forth as gold. Job 23:10 If you're walking through a season of pain or confusion, you're not alone. Job's story proves that God's silence is not his absence. And your suffering is not your end. Trust Him? Even when life doesn't make sense, He's still good, and He's still God. The Book of Job Explained, Finding Faith in the Fire.